Hello, so in this video I wanted to talk about gratitude and gratefulness. Now I'm sure if you've been in the self-improvement or spiritual circles or mindset circles or any of those sort of places, you will have heard that gratitude is really important, the practice of gratefulness. But I wanted to add my own spin to it, because it really is critical. However, there is one aspect to gratefulness that is actually very detrimental, and I will touch on that a little bit later on in this video. But first things first, my spiritual master used to say to me that gratitude is the highest form of prayer. And nothing could be more true than that statement. Gratitude is the highest form of prayer. If you think about it, when people pray to the universe, to God, to whatever it is that they believe and so forth, a lot of the times they're either praying for what they want or they're praying to make something go away. Both of those tactics and both of those things do not, number one, acknowledge the perfection of the universe and that there is a reason why everything happens. Okay. And I know that that can sometimes be very challenging for people, especially when they're going through hell, okay, when they're going through the worst of the worst possible things. And I understand that, like, trust me, in my spiritual training over the last 25 to 30 years with shaman, with spiritual masters and living in ashrams and doing all sorts of crazy stuff and having literally an Alice in Wonderland type of lifestyle, there was hell in there, a lot of hell. I had to face a lot of things that I had no idea that was inside of me. So I absolutely understand. You know, I lost 2 marriages. I had drug addictions. I had multiple surgeries and a lot of health issues when I was younger that which I realized now later on was more due to emotional trauma that I had taken on and all sorts of other things that I will reveal and that you will get to know more about as you get to know me on this journey. So I have the utmost of compassion for people in the worst possible circumstances and situations where they are going through hardship. But I say to them, and I say to you, that regardless of how it looks, there is a silver lining in there. There is a reason for it. And we might not always see it right now, and we might not always understand it, but it's in there. A lot of the reasons why we reject that belief system is because we also believe that this is real, that this is who you truly are, and that this reality is all that exists. And it doesn't. You are an immortal aspect of creation. The consciousness and the energy that you are just transforms and changes when you leave your body and all of that. Okay, that's the reason why people have out-of-body experiences and have had near-death experiences and come back from the dead and all of these sort of things. Okay, again, I'm not going to get into all the science of all of that because it's just not necessary. It's far more easier to just understand the fact that you are responsible for changing what's happening to you. And you have the full 100% power to do so. So when you're using the power of prayer to say, make it go away, make it go away, well, the universe might listen to you and make it go away. The problem with that is that you may not have learnt the lesson of it, and so you might end up repeating that circumstance or situation in your life again. It's the reason why sometimes it feels like we keep recreating the same circumstance and situation day in and day out, or the same type of relationships, or the same type of bosses, or the same type of people in our lives, and not feel fulfilled, or have financial problems and all this sort of stuff, because it's all coming from what's inside of you. Because from your reality, from your experience of this earth, no one exists except for you. You're the only person that exists. And you're in 100% control if you believe it. The issue is that we've been programmed and conditioned to believe that we don't have the power. And there's many reasons for that, and this is not the forum for that. And even that's an illusion to a certain degree, because as souls embodying on this planet, in order to be able to have the experiences that we need and to gather the experience and the data and to have the opportunity to transcend our reality, you have to believe that this is real. It has to come across as real. Otherwise, it won't work, right? And you won't get the benefits, and there won't actually be the point of incarnating in the first place. So that's all I'm going to say about that woo-woo side of things. And let's talk again back to the fact that make it go away doesn't allow you to receive the gift and to learn the lesson, right? So if you don't learn the lesson, you won't receive the gift. And the gift is usually going to be that you don't have to recreate that circumstance or situation. And so you'll hear me say a lot of times that everything is a gift and a blessing. And if you receive the gift, you'll also receive the blessing. Okay? But if you renounce the gift, you will never get the blessing of it. And the blessing of it is usually that you don't need to recreate that situation because you've learned that lesson and you've hopefully gotten everything you could out of it. And that can only happen with conscious awareness. So make it go away prayers have some huge downsides to it. Same with when you pray for something, okay? Because when you pray for something, no matter how noble and how good it is, you're implying, once again, the imperfection, right? And not only are you implying the imperfection, but you're also implying that it's not there. It's not available to you. And in some ways, it is good to ask for things, but it's how you ask for it and where it's coming from that's important, okay? Because I'm all about communication with the self, with the divine, with the higher aspects of yourself, and getting that to that point where you live from that consciousness and you create your reality consciously, rather than being knocked around and bumped around. So gratitude is that space of acknowledging the perfection of it. When you're praying for something to go away or praying for someone to have a healing, the greatest prayer that you can have for them is that they realize the gift and the blessing of it, right? That they overcome whatever it is that was in place that made that circumstance or situation become something in their lives, become a reality in their lives. That's the highest form of prayer, because then they get the lesson of it. They get to transform permanently. So that's the reason why it's so important and so critical. Now, I started this video by saying that there is one major pitfall to gratefulness that is not always necessarily addressed by people that talk about gratitude. A lot of people use being grateful as a way to avoid feeling the negative things and the bad things that happen to them. So what they'll do is that they'll say, okay, I know that I'm supposed to be grateful. So they'll just stuff everything down and go, okay, I'm grateful and I'm blessed. And they'll start doing all these affirmations and all of that sort of stuff. And that is detrimental. You should never, ever, ever in your life repress and stuff down your feelings or your emotions, unless you're in a circumstance and situation where it's inappropriate for you to feel it and release it. And so in that case, what you want to do is at your earliest convenience, give yourself the opportunity to dive back into the emotion of whatever circumstance or situation it is that you're facing in your life, so that you can have the opportunity to transmute it and transform it. And I will be teaching through some of these videos in this video series, through the Facebook group, through my courses and programs, and obviously through my coaching, how to do that effectively. And the truth is, it's not always a one-size-fits-all, number one. And number two is that it depends on the circumstance and situation and what's coming up as to what's appropriate and what tool or process will help you the most, okay? And that is the reason why it's so important to have a tribe, have a community, have a coach, or have someone in your circle that can be the reflection, that can be that mirror, that can be that support for you and help guide you in ways that don't disempower you, but actually empower you to have the transformation and the realization within yourself. Okay, because when you have the realization and the transformation, and you are able to access and release the blocked emotions or energy that is trapped in your body, that is the ultimate goal. Okay, so gratitude has also been scientifically proven, okay, it's all the science buffs out there, to make physiological changes to your body and to your brain. It can heal you of ailments and illnesses and diseases. It can change your neurology. It actually activates certain parts of the brain. And these are all things that have been scientifically measured based on people that are practicing gratitude and the immediate effects and the longer term effects on it versus people that don't. And you can probably do a Google search and find some of the studies in relation to that. But gratitude is really, really, really important, but not denial, okay? And you want to always be grateful of everything, especially the bad things and the things that are the most difficult to be grateful for. And you want it to be real, okay? You want it to be through the emotional body. You want to feel it really, okay? Because if you don't feel it, then it's just intellectual and it's not going to actually facilitate the transformation and the ability to move from this now moment, whatever this now moment is for you, and be able to step forward into the next moment free and unencumbered by all the things that you're not grateful about. Okay. And when you do that, you're opening yourself up in the next moment to infinite possibilities. And if you continue to practice gratefulness without denial, then what you will find is that you will be navigated and guided more and more into the lifestyle and the things that you love and that you enjoy and that are an aspect of who you truly are and who you were born to be. And then you'll find that you'll have more presence, you'll have more strength, you'll have a more positive outlook, you'll be able to deal with circumstances and situations quicker, right? Because gratitude, when you're grateful, you cannot be a victim. It's impossible to be a victim. And that is really, really important, because most of humanity lives as victims to certain aspects of their lives. And certainly the ones that are in the most pain and that are suffering the most are usually, well, really it's 100% of the time are in victim consciousness. And when someone's in victim consciousness, you're rendered powerless. You can't transform, you can't heal, and it pulls you down, pulls your vibration down. And it can be very difficult to pull oneself out of it. And gratefulness is a huge tool to help with that process and also help you stay out of those really ultra low dips and buying into the illusion of the circumstance. So once again, if you have any questions, you want me to clarify anything, then please comment down below and let me know.